Football's world governing body FIFA has begun disciplinary proceedings against the Uruguay striker Luis Suarez after he appeared to bite an Italian player during a World Cup match last night. No action was taken during the game, but FIFA could ban him from international football for 2 years. Suarez has been banned twice before for biting while playing for Ajax and his current club Liverpool. Kevin Geary has this report.
It could be the World Cup's most shocking moment. One of the tournament's biggest stars, Luis Suarez, appears to bite Italy's Giorgio Chiellini. Though the referee missed it, Chiellini was in no doubt about what had happened.
Suarez is a sneak and he gets away with it because FIFA want their stars to play in the World Cup. I'd love to see if they have the courage to use video evidence against him. The referee saw the bite mark too, but he did nothing about it.
My own feeling is that he needs some help. He needs, let's say, medical help, psychiatric help. I think he's a human being, first of all, and he has got a problem that needs dealing with. Forget about the football side of things at the moment. This fella needs looking after.
Suarez's manager has backed him, but the striker has form in this area. He bit a player while playing for Ajax, and after joining Liverpool, he was banned for 10 games for biting Chelsea's Branislav Ivanovic. Suarez came back from that to win the PFA Player of the Year award and took that form into the World Cup with Uruguay. It was his 2 goals that knocked England out of the competition. After that game, Suarez said that was a response to the criticism he's had while playing in England. And last night he was playing down the latest controversy.
These situations happen on the pitch. We were both inside the area. He struck me with his shoulder and hit me in the eye. These are things that happen on the pitch, and you shouldn't attach so much importance to them.
Minutes after the incident, Uruguay won a corner, and Diego Godin's goal banished the mighty Italy from the World Cup. A moment of footballing joy for Uruguayans everywhere, except perhaps one. Patrick Geary, BBC News in Rio de Janeiro.
Well, I'm joined now by James Beale. He's a lecturer in sports psychology from the University of East London. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Well, this business is about Suarez. He's an aggressive player, we know that, but it sounds like an aggressive human being as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think athletes all have their own optimal performance zones, and I think Suarez's one is definitely one while he's on the pitch of being slightly aggressive. And I think when you combine that with a little bit of frustration, he needs an outlet, and perhaps his outlets are slightly inappropriate, to put it mildly.
Well, if you were dealing with him, let's say, can you do something with this man? How would you tackle him?
I think firstly we need to look at the people around him and his reaction. So at the moment, you've got him coming out after the game and saying these things happen. You've got his captain criticising the Italian player, not criticising him. So at the moment, I think you need to find a way for him to acknowledge that there's a problem with acting in the way that he's acted. And until you do that, I'm not sure you can deal with him. But if you were to get that to happen, the way that I would deal with it is I would get him to look at his stress signature, which seems that his default position appears to be...
You called it a stress signature. That's what you described the bite as, is it?
I wouldn't say it's quite a signature, but I know that he's done that twice before. We don't know what happened when he was a youth player in Uruguay. And yeah, I think that he has a default position to act in an aggressive way, an inappropriate aggressive way, whereas perhaps other players will find alternatives, and perhaps we could help him to find an alternative way of releasing his frustration, his aggression.
What would you suggest? A cursing? I'm not sure that's allowed these days, but it mustn't use violence against another player. That's the straightforward situation, isn't it?
You've got 2 extremes. You've got people who are able to deal with their frustration well within the confines of the game, so they might sprint quicker after a ball, they might go in slightly harder into a tackle, and then you've got the other end of that pole of Suarez biting. And in between that, you've got lots of different things. So you've got people who will perhaps maliciously mistime a tackle, you've got people who will elbow. And I think getting Suarez down that pole towards the more lawful section is the way to go about it. And I think the way to do that is to help him to find coping mechanisms which are different to how he copes at the moment.
Have you ever come across a case yourself of biting, actually?
I personally haven't come across a case like that, no. There was a case of Mike Tyson biting Evander Holyfield's ear. So I don't think it's unique to Suarez, but I think it is very rare. And I think it's very unpalatable for spectators to see. I think it's a very unusual aggressive act.
And there's talk of a long ban.
Yep.
in his cases. Obviously, we're saying not the first time it's happened, and also the possibility at least one major sponsor, Adidas, is talking about pulling out of support for a team. I mean, are these sort of things appropriate in this circumstances, do you think?
I think so. I mean, that kind of behaviour is unacceptable, and I think what is not seen is the impact on other people. So, you know, he has a he's a role model to other people, and we need to keep that into consideration, and any punishment needs to reflect that.
James Beale, very grateful to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for having me on.